Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss a special type of programming that is known as dynamic programming. Dynamic programming is a very useful quantitative analysis technique that can be used to solve many real-life situations. Basically, dynamic programming deals with the problems which are relatively large and very complex in nature. And to solve them, we need special types of techniques or programming to obtain the optimal solutions. So let's start with a brief introduction of dynamic programming. Dynamic programming basically is a quantitative approach which is used to find the solutions or optimal solutions of relatively large and complex problems by adopting a multi-stage approach. So basically in dynamic programming, which deals with the problems which are relatively large if compared with problems of linear programming or goal programming, and adopt a multi-stage approach. It means we break the larger problem into smaller sub-problems and then accordingly solve them. In other words, we can say that it is a systematic approach or systematic quantitative approach of breaking complex and larger problems into sub-problems and then evaluate every sub-problem for an optimal solution. A problem may be called as complex if it is not possible to solve the problem in one stage or in one step. So in dynamic programming, we will deal or we shall discuss the problems which would be solved at multiple stages or by using multiple stage decision making approach. But before doing that, we must understand the differences between dynamic programming and linear programming. Basically, there are two differences between dynamic programming and linear programming. If we talk about dynamic programming, there is no standard mathematical formulation or algorithm that may be followed or used to solve any particular problem in hand. In other words, we can say that in dynamic programming, we don't have any method, any technique which is in standard form and can be used to solve the problem. And unlike dynamic programming, in linear programming, we have several such standard mathematical formulations or algorithms in form of simplex method, graphical method, and other methods that can be used to solve the linear programming problems. So it is the most fundamental and basic difference between dynamic programming and linear programming, that in dynamic programming there is no standard mathematical process or technique that can be followed to solve a problem. The second basic difference between linear programming and dynamic programming is that in linear programming, the mathematical models, that is simplex method or graphical method, gives one time period solutions or one stage solutions, while in real life there can be some situations or problems in which we need to take decisions at several stages. So in that case, we cannot use those mathematical models of linear programming. So to solve them, we need dynamic programming, which follows a multi-stage approach to solve a given problem by breaking the problem or a larger problem in smaller and simpler sub-problems. So it is the basic process that is adopted in dynamic programming. That is, it divides the given problem into a number of sub-problems. Before moving ahead, let's discuss a standard dynamic programming problem or a standard problem, multi-stage problem that can be solved with the help of dynamic programming. Suppose there's a traveler who wants to visit or wants to go from city A to city B. The traveler has to break his journey thrice during the course of his travel from city A to city B. And at each break there are options available. that is shown in the figure. At each breakpoint, the traveler has to exchange the means of transport. The information given in this problem can be understood by drawing a diagram that is like this. The traveler has to visit from city A, that is this one, city A to city B. So from this point to this point, the traveler has to visit or travel. During his travel, the traveler has to take 3 breaks. At this stage, again at this stage, and again at this stage. So we can say that the traveler can start from city A and can go to point 2 or point 3 from city A. The traveler may choose to go to point 2 or to point 3. If he has to start from city A, he may choose to go to point 2 or to point 3. Suppose if the traveler selects to go or opts to go to stage 2 or node 2, from there he would be having 2 options. He can take any mode of transport and he can go to point 4, or he can go from point 2 to point 5. Similarly, if the traveler choose to go point 3, then from that point he can opt to go to point 5 or to point 6. Similarly, further, if the traveler wants to choose to go to point 4, then there will be 2 options to go from there to point 7 or to point 8. So traveler can go from point 4 to point 7 or from 4 to point 8, and from there again he may choose to go to the final destination, that is city B. If the traveler choose to go to point 2 from 1 to 2, then it will take 15 hours of the journey. And similarly, if he choose to go to point 3, then it will take 21 hours of journey. Similarly, from point 2 to point 4, it will take 18 hours, and from point 2 to point 5, it will take 15 hours. And similarly, the time period taken between different points is given here. From point 4 to point 7, it will be 27 hours. From point 4 to point 8, it will take 30 hours to travel the distance. And similarly, for every combination and for every stage, the respective time period of the journey is given. So now the question is, which route the traveler should opt to minimize the travel time, the total travel time taken between city A to city B. So this is the question, and we need to find the optimal answer of this problem by using the dynamic programming technique. So it is one of the standard problems that we can solve by using the dynamic programming. So before moving ahead, we should understand the key terms used in dynamic programming. The first important term that is used in dynamic programming is the stage. What is the meaning of stage? A stage basically represents a sub-problem, like we have discussed earlier that the dynamic programming breaks the major problem into sub-problems. So a stage basically represents a sub-problem of the original problem at which a decision is to be made. Like we have broke broken this problem into several stages. It is the starting point is called as stage 1. In stage 2 there can be 2 options, in stage 3 there are 3 options, and in stage 4 there are 4 options. So we have broken this problem into 4 stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4. So basically the stage represents a sub problem of a larger problem at which the decision maker has to take decision. The second term that is used in dynamic programming is states. What is the meaning of states? The states or state basically represents the various possible options that is available with the decision maker at a particular stage. Like in this diagram, at stage 2 there are 2 options with the decision maker, that is option 2 or node 2 and node 3. So from point 1 the decision maker may choose to go to point 2 or to point 3. So there are 2 options with the decision maker, and from there again, from point 2 or decision node 2, the traveler may choose to go to node 4 or to node 5. So basically the states represent the options available with the decision maker at a particular stage. The third term, that is the most important part of dynamic programming, is the payoff. Payoff basically represents anything that the decision maker wants to optimize. It can be the time the decision maker wants to minimize, or it can be the profit the decision maker wants to maximize, or it can be the cost again the decision maker wants to minimize. So payoff can be anything the decision maker wants to optimize. So there are again different terms or types of payoffs that we would discuss in dynamic programming, and one of these is the immediate payoff. What is the meaning of immediate payoff? As the name is suggesting, it is associated with the move between 2 adjoining stages, like 2 adjoining stages. So these rectangular form structures are showing the stages in this particular diagram. So it is so stage 1 and stage 2, or node 1 and node 2, represents 2 different stages that are adjoining, and the time period or time taken to travel from node 1 to node 2 is known as the immediate payoff. It is the immediate time that is taken by the traveler from point 1 to point 2. The second type of payoff is known as the optimal payoff, that is obtained at a previous stage. So in the dynamic programming, we would calculate the optimal payoff for every state and for every stage. Like we need to calculate the optimal payoff for between point 1 to 2, again between point 2 to 4, between node 2 to node 5, between node 4 to node 7, and between node 4 to node 8. So in a similar manner, we need to calculate the payoff or optimal payoff for every combination of nodes. We would call them the optimal payoff. The third type is the total payoff, which can be calculated by using this formula: immediate payoff plus the optimal payoff of the previous stage. So when we will discuss the problem, then we would understand this formula. The next term that we would use is the decision process. So decision process is nothing but the combination of the activities or steps taken to solve the given problem, or to calculate the optimal solution of the given problem. Fifth point, that is the most important point in this dynamic programming, it is known as principle of optimality. This principle basically states that the optimal solution for a larger problem contains an optimal solution for a smaller sub-problem. It means, we can understand it with a simple form example. Like if there are 2 points, point A and point B, and we want to draw a line that represents the minimum distance between point A and point B. So how we can draw the line that represents the minimum distance between point A and B? So it is very simple. We can start from point A and can draw a line to point B that represents the shortest distance between point A and B. And now suppose that if there is another point C, that lies between point A and point B, then how would we draw a line that represents the minimum distance between point A and point B? Then how would we draw the line? So the simple process of drawing the line between point A and point B would be like this. First, we need to draw a straight line or the smallest line between point A to point C, and after that we need to draw a line from point C to point B. Condition is that we cannot avoid the point C. Okay, we have to include the point C while drawing the line between point A and point B. So to draw a line that represents the minimum distance between point A and point B, given that there is a point C that lies on that line, in this situation we need to draw a smallest or shortest line between point A to C, and after that we need to draw a line that represents the shortest distance between point C to point B. Only in that case we can draw a line between A and B that represents the shortest distance. In other words, we can say that if the line between A and C is the shortest, and the line between C and B is also represents the shortest distance between C and B, only then the sum of these two lines would be optimal, or the smallest that would be the shortest distance between point A and B. Again, let's suppose that instead of one point there are 2 points that are available between point A and point B. These are point E and point F. Again, the condition is that we need to draw a line that represents the shortest or optimal distance between point A and point P. So how would we draw the line given these 2 points, point E and point B? For that purpose, first of all, we need to draw the smallest line between point A to point E. Again, we need to draw a smallest line between point E to point F, and again from point F to point B. If these 3 shorter lines are optimal or shortest between the given combination of points, only then the larger problem or larger line between A and B would be optimal or shortest. So in other words, we can say that the shortest distance between point A or city A to city B only be possible if the distance between the given nodes, like between one node to node 2, from node 2 to node 5, or different stages, if the distance between the stages is small, only then the total distance between A and city B can be minimized. So basically, principle of optimality states that we can obtain the optimal solution of a larger problem only in that case if we are able to obtain the optimal solutions of the sub-problems of that larger problem. The 6th major term that we would use while using dynamic programming is recursive relationship. It means that the dynamic programming problems involves repeated application of of a particular rule or a particular technique. Like we need to calculate the optimal solution for every stage and every state. Like we need to calculate the optimal solution from stage 1 to stage 2, and again from stage 2 to stage 3, from stage 4 to stage 5, and again from stage 5 to the final destination. So we have to repeat the same technique or same rule again and again until we got the final solution of the problem. So that's why it is recursive in nature or repetitive in nature. So these are some basic key terms or concepts that we would use or we should keep in mind while dealing with the problems in dynamic programming. So what would be the procedure of solving a problem by using dynamic programming? In step 1, we need to divide the problem into sub-problems or stages. First of all, break the problem into smaller problems or stages. Then we need to solve the last stage for all possible conditions. Like we did in the case of decision tree, we have started from the last stage or the last node in the right hand side, and we have solved the last stage first for the optimal solution. After that, we need to solve the second last stage, and in a similar manner we have to move backward to the first until we reached to the first stage. Finally, we need to obtain the optimal solution of the problem by solving all stages in a sequential manner or by summing up all the optimal solutions to get the final solution of the larger problem. So again, we have the traveler's problem, in which the information given here that can be represented in the form of this graph or this diagram, that from city A we need to minimize the distance, minimize the time taken to travel from city A to city B. So the traveler can start from city A, which is known as stage 1 of this problem. It is the stage 1 at which the decision maker has to decide whether to take the route 1-2 or 1-3. Suppose if the traveler opts the route 1-2, then it will take 15 hours of journey, and if he opts for route 1-3, then it will take 21 hours of the journey. So the rectangular forms or structures in this graph shows the particular stage of the problem, and the circles denote the states or options available to the decision maker or the traveler. So after starting from 1 and reaching to point 2, the decision maker has to change the mode of transportation at this point. And after changing the modes of the transportation or mode of the transportation, the decision maker can go on this route, that is from 2 to 4, and these circular points are basically known as the exchange points or the exchange nodes at which the decision maker or traveler has to change the mode of the transportation. So the circular points, circles at every stage shows the different states or different options available with the decision maker. So with this information, now we will solve this problem by using the dynamic programming. As first of all, we would solve the last stage of the problem, because we would use the rollback technique like we have used in decision tree. So start from the stage 4, that is this one, So the traveler can opt the route from 7 to 11, from 8 to 11, from 9 to 11, or 10 to 11. If the traveler opts the first route, that is 7th point, then he can reach the destination city that is denoted by point 11. So this route would be known as 7-11. The travel time between 7 to 11 is 21 hours, and the total time would be 21 hours from 7 to 11. Similarly, from 8 to 11, the time taken would be 15 hours, and from point 9 to 11, the time would be 18 hours, and from 10 to 11, the time taken would be 27 hours. So after reaching point 7, the traveler has only one option, that is 7 to 11, and it will take 21 hours to reach the destination city. Similarly, after reaching point 8, there is also a single option available with the traveler, that is he has to take this route 8-11, and it will take 15 hours. Similarly, from 9 to 11 it will take 18 hours, and from 10 to 11 it will take 11 hours. After solving this, now we would move to the next stage, that is the third stage of this problem. At stage 3 we have 3 states: state 4, state 5, and state 6. So at stage 3 the traveler can be at any of these places. If the traveler is at node 4, then he may choose to go from node 4 to node 7. From node 4 to node 7, then the time taken to travel from stage 3 to stage 4 would be equal to 27 hours. So from stage 4 to 7, the time taken would be equal to 27 hours. From 4 to 7 it will take 27 hours, and after reaching point 7, the traveler has only one option, that he has to take the route from 7 to 11. So after traveling from 4 to 7, the traveler has to travel or to take this route 7 to 11. Then what would be the total time taken on this route? That would be equal to 27 plus 21. 4 to 7 it will take 27 hours, and after reaching at point 7, the traveling time between 7 to 11 would be equal to 21 hours. So after opting this route, the total time that the traveler would take to reach the destination city would be equal to 27 plus 21, that is equal to 48 hours. Similarly, if the traveler opts this route, that is from 4 to 8 node, from node 4 to node 8, it will take 30 hours, and after reaching point or node 8, there is only one option, that is 8-11, and it will take 15 hours. So total time taken between 4 to 11 would be 15 plus 30 equal to 45 hours. So from 4 to 7 it will take 27 hours, and from 7 to 11 it will take 21 hours. So in total the journey time would be equal to 48 hours. And if the traveler go by this route from 4 to 8 and from 8 to 11, then the total time would be equal to 45 hours. At stage 3, the traveler can be at point 5, and from point 5 he has only two options, two routes, that is 5-8 it will take 24 hours, or 5 9, it will take 30 hours. If the decision maker opts this route 5 to 8, then again he has to take the route 8 11. So total time taken between 5 to 8 and 8 to 11 would be equal to 24 plus 15, that is equal to 39 hours. And if he takes this route 5 to 9 and 9 to 11, then the total time taken would be equal to 30 plus 18, that is equal to 48 hours. The third option is that the decision maker can be at point 6, and from point 6 he can opt to go to point 9, and it will take 24 hours, and again from point 9 to 11 it will take 11 hours. So total time taken between point 6 to 11 through this route would be equal to 24 plus 18, that is 30 plus 34 plus 8, 42 hours. Similarly, if the decision maker takes this route 6 to 10, 21 plus 10 to 11, that is equal plus 27, that is equal to 48. With this information, now we would solve this stage 2 of the diagram, that is this one. At stage 2, the traveler has two states, state 2 and state 3. At state 2, there are two options. He may go through this route 2 to 4, or he may go through this route, that is 2 to 5. If the traveler opts this route, then after reaching point 4, again he would be having two routes, 4 to 7 and 4 to 8, and again from 7 to 11 and 8 to 11. So he may choose this route 2 to 4, 4 to 7 and 7 to 11. Then the total time taken would be equal to 18 plus 27 plus 21, and it would be equal to 63. And in case if he selects this route 2 to 5, then the route would be 2 to 5, 5 to 8, or 8 to 11. Then the total time would be taken would be equal to 15 plus 24 plus 15, that would be equal to 54. The traveler can opt this route as well from 2 to 4. After going to 4, he may go to point 8, that is 4 to 8, and from 8 to 11. But look at the total time taken through this route. It would be equal to 30 plus 12, 45 plus 18, that is 63. So it is much larger than the 18 plus 27 plus 21 route, that is equal to 'So the total time taken through this route is equal to 64 hours, and the total time taken through this route is 63 hours. So out of these two options, we would select the route that is 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and 8 to 11, as it will take 63 hours, which is less than this route. So we have selected this route, that is 63 hours. Now if we are at stage 3, before that we would discuss this one. If we are at point 2 and we are going to point 5 or node 5, so from node 5 we can opt this route, that is 5 to 8, 8 to 11, and the total time taken on this route, that is 2 to 5, 5 to 8 and 8 to 11, would be equal to 15 plus 24 plus 15, that is equal to 54. The other route can be 2 to 5, 5 to 9 and 9 to 11. The total time taken from this route would be equal to 30 plus 8, 18, that is 48, plus 15, 63. So this route is smaller, that is smaller than this one, 2 to 5 to 8 to 11, as it is taking only 54 hours. So we are going to consider this one, 54 hours. So after taking or opting or selecting two best routes from stage 2, we would move on to second option available at this stage, that is point 3 or node 3. So at exchange, from exchange point 3, the traveler may opt to go to point 5 or to node 6. If he goes from 3 to 5, then he can go from 5 to 8 and from 8 to 11. Then the total time taken from this route, that is 3 to 5, 5 to 8 and 8 to 11, would be 12 plus 24, 36 plus 15, that is 51. And if he choose the second route, that is 3 to 5, 5 to 9 and 9 to 11, so the total time taken on this route would be 48 plus 12, that is equal to 60. So we would select the smaller route, that is from 3 to 5, 5 to 8 and 8 to 11, as it is taking only 24 plus 12, 36, 51 hours, that is this one, 51 hours. Clear this one. From node 3, the traveler can opt to go to point 6. From point 6, he may go to point 9, node 9, and from node 9 to the final destination, that is city B. So total time taken on this route would be equal to 28 plus 14, that is equal to 42 plus 18. So total time taken would be equal to 60. And from this route, the total time taken would be equal to 3 to 6, 18 hours, 6 to 10, 21 hours, and from 10 to 11, 27 hours. So total time taken would be equal to 48, 58, 60, 66 hours. So it is better to go through route 3 to 6, 6 to 9 and 9 to 11, as it is taking 34, 24, 42, only 60 hours. So we would select this route. So out of the 4 options, we have 2 optimal options, that is 54 and 51. So from we can go from point 2 to 5 or from point 3 to 5. After solving this stage, let's move to the next stage, that is stage 1. So from stage 1, the traveler can go to decision node 2 or to decision node 3. As a decision node, this route, that is 1 to 2, is taking less time, that is equal to 15 hours. And after that, the optimal route is, after reaching at point 2, the optimal route is, as we have discussed in the previous part of this video, after reaching at point 2, the best route is from 2 to 5, 5 to 8 and 8 to 11. So the total time taken would be equal to 15, 30, 54, 64, 69 hours, 69 hours. And if the traveler opts to go to point 3, then the total time taken would be, the best option would be 3 to 5. From this point, he can go to point 8 and from there point 11. So the total time taken would be equal to 15 plus 24, 39 plus 12, 51 plus 21, that is equal to 72 hours. 72 hours. And if the traveler take another route, that is from 3 to 5, 5 to 9, and from 9 to 11, then the total time taken would be equal to 30 plus 18, 48 plus 12, 60 plus 21, that is equal to 81. Similarly, if he opts the route 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and 9 to 11, then the total time would be equal to 18 plus 24, that is equal to 42 plus 18, 60 plus 21, again equal to 81. And if he selects this route from 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 21, and 21 to 10 to 11, then the total time would be equal to 27 plus 21, 48 plus 18, 66 plus 21. So it would be equal to 87. So the optimal route would be from out of these two options, it is 69. So the final solution would be like this. We would go from point 1 to point 2, as it is taking only 15 hours. From point 2 to point 5, again it is taking 15 hours. From point 5 to point 8, it is taking 24 hours. And from point 8 to point 11, it is equal to 15 hours. So total time taken would be equal to 15 plus 15 plus 15, 45 plus 24, that is equal to 69. So 69 hours would be the optimal time that is taken by the traveler while traveling from city A to city B. So in this way, by using dynamic programming or by breaking a larger problem into smaller problems or smaller stages, we can solve for optimality. In a similar way, we can discuss another problems and we can apply dynamic programming to find the optimal solutions. Thank you.